I'm gonna start this video off with a bit of a weird question. Have you ever played a game that felt like a combination of one of your favorite games of all time and one of your least favorite games of all time? I don't mean you have a love-hate relationship with the game, I mean you're able to link it with a specific game you love and a specific game you hate. I bring this up because the game I'm reviewing today feels that way to me. The game in question, Stick It to the Man, honest to God feels like a combination of Psychonauts and Paper Mario Sticker Star. I'll go into that comparison later in the video. Let's start off by getting into the story of the game. The story revolves around a hard hat tester named Ray who gets hit in the head on his way home from work. He then awakes to find a big pink noodle arm coming out of his head that lets him grab onto things as well as read people's minds. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure known only as The Man is trying to get his hands on Ray to take his powers. The characters in this game are decent. The main characters like Ray, Arlene, The Man, and a few others are all pretty likable, but there's nothing that really sticks out to me that makes me say that they're a great character or anything. They're not bad by any means, but they're not great either. The side characters in the game are mostly there for you to solve their problems so you can progress throughout the game. As you would imagine, you can read their minds and they're usually pretty funny. This isn't the funniest game I've played or anything, far from it, but the humor is all throughout and it is fairly funny. Now I think I'll move on to the visuals. This is really when I started to notice the connections that this game has with the two games I mentioned earlier. The character designs in this game are pretty weird and surreal, in a very similar way to how the character designs in Psychonauts were pretty weird and surreal. Not to mention, the unimportant people being cardboard cutouts kinda reminds me of the Figments. On the Paper Mario side of things, a lot of the characters are two-dimensional and paper-like, as well as a lot of the background objects being cardboard cutouts. The music in this game's good, not anything particularly memorable or atmospheric, but good nonetheless. Now with the presentation out of the way, let's move on to the gameplay. The main mechanic of the game is reading people's minds. You progress through the levels by solving people's problems, and the way to figure out how to do that is by reading their minds. And the way you help solve people's problems is by using stickers. When you come across an object you can pick up, you pick it up with your big spaghetti arm and then place it somewhere where it's needed. These objects come in the form of stickers, some of them you find in the real world, while others you take straight out of people's thoughts. Not to mention you can peel back walls to see what's going on inside buildings. There's also combat in this game. Kinda. You have The Man's goons to deal with, but you can't really attack them, more so just run away or occasionally use a sticker to trip one of them up. Story-wise, the combat makes sense, but gameplay-wise, I honestly didn't feel it was needed. It gets stale and wasn't really that good of a concept to begin with. The combat really just feels like a needless distraction from the puzzle solving in the rest of the game. Except Chapter 8. I'll fully admit that part was awesome. So I guess the answer to the big question of what happens when you combine Paper Mario Sticker Star with Psychonauts is they cancel each other out and just become a fairly average game. I did have fun playing Stick It to the Man. It had some funny moments, a good art style, and some interesting ideas. But the game itself just feels really average. It's just a really average game to me. The game's $7, and I do feel that is a pretty fair price. I know this is a bit weird, but can I just not give a verdict for this review? I had too much fun with the game to just say to not get it, but at the same time, it didn't really feel special enough for me to say, oh, you totally have to go get this. And the price is so appropriate, I can't really say wait for a sale either. I guess my verdict for this game is, if it looks interesting to you, get it. Just don't expect something amazing. And if the game doesn't look interesting to you, then just don't get it. But it's not like you just dodged a massive bullet either. I'm aware that it kind of feels cheap of me not to give a distinct good or bad verdict on this game, but honestly this is just what I feel. I'm Defoffalizer, and I honestly didn't know reviewing Stick It to the Man could be so confusing.